Let's do like those Kanye videos. Have you seen the Kanye edits where he's just like doing like he's like just ad libs? It's like he's getting interviewed. It's like and then it's like a clip of him staring. It's like into like the crowd. He's like,
So welcome to the first episode of 2018 of Plugged In, and I'm here with the guys from Vox Vocis.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, the first 2018.
Yeah, we haven't done anything else.
Is this considered
this year.
season 2 or is this just 2018?
I'm gonna call this the actual finale of season 1 because season 2 was supposed to have somebody else come in and
somebody way better than us.
No. It was we were supposed to. The whole season 2 thing was we were bringing in another co-host.
Oh,
I see.
And I guess I'll just spoil it here. It's Jack Whittick from The Buried Heart.
That's
He's
what's
gonna
up.
join
That's
us.
what's up.
I'm
So-
glad you said his last name out loud because I was sitting on that one. I didn't know if it was Whittick.
I
or
thought it was
Wittich.
Wittich.
I thought it was Wittich too until we did the podcast with him, and he was like, "Oh, my name is Jack Whittick," and I was like, "Okay, cool." Like, good thing I did not say it.
That's Jack Quidditch. That's what I'm calling him now.
I call it Zachary Snackery sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I call him Daiquiri.
I mean, Zach Guerin would be more Zachary Snackery. wouldn't
Zach
he?
Guerin is the damn snack.
That's right.
All right, so let me pull up my document, just so I have my questions available for me.
Sounds good.
You guys are also the first group that we've actually shared our questions with, so you guys actually had time to prepare
Yeah.
prepare your
Somewhat.
answers.
Yeah. We
Don't
talked
worry,
about
the questions will be just as awful as we'd heard them the first time.
All right. Well, just to kind of general start off, why don't you guys tell us the origins of the band, how this lineup came together?
So I'm taking that one because I'm the only person left from the first version of the band. This is Zach talking, by the way.
He killed off everybody else. Just spoiler alert. He kills
Yeah,
off
pretty
everybody.
much. As soon as they disagree, I just murder them. It's a real good way to get what you want. But we started with me and Tim from Icarus the Owl and a couple of his friends, and just over the years we would rotate out like a bunch of different people trying to figure out like what the lineup was going to be. And we couldn't find anybody for a real long time until I met this guy named Alejandro at college, and then he helped us like kick it up another notch, which inadvertently led to kicking out the other person that started the band with Tim and I. And then Alejandro went home that summer for school and brought Alex back. And Alex is now like the frontman writer guy.
Yeah.
And so Lewis joined in whenever we needed a live keyboardist for tour, and we just actually ended up really hitting it off. And so he joined the band, and then Cheetah was like a commodity. I don't know, Cheetah. How did you end up here?
Well, it started in 2014. I ended up booking a show. Vox was on it. I put Vox on second. And Andres was on that show actually back in 2014 in his old band Terror Alive. Alaska was on it. There was this band called Otonano Trio from Japan. Crazy lineup. It was like 8 bands actually.
Yeah.
And that's when I first heard Vox Vocis in full. It was a really crappy house show, and there weren't even any actual monitors or anything. Alex's vocals went through a bass amp. But Vox Vocis came through extremely hard, and I was extremely impressed with them. Nobody really knew about Vox at the time. Nobody that I was messing with, at least. So I made sure they like went up the ladder a little bit, introduced them to all the other popular bands in our little niche. And whenever my band, I was in another band before this, whenever we couldn't get a show, I would always vouch for Vox. I'd be like, yo, get Vox Vocis. They'll fucking tear down the house. And one thing led to another. My band broke up. I had this vision that their last bassist would be leaving. Who we're still in touch with him, by the way. Really cool dude. He helps us out a lot.
Yeah.
Then I stepped in. So Zach had asked me a bunch of times. I had this job that I had a contract with, and Zach kept asking me to join his band. I kept telling him no. This band sucks.
Pretty much.
But I eventually joined, and here we are.
Hashtag cheetah for Stolas.
Hashtag cheated for Stolas.
Oh shit.
I pretty much like just spammed the Vox page whenever I found out they were looking for a keyboardist. I was like, pick me.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool.
I think it's
Oh no, y'all did the history. We're
Oh,
good.
I thought you were gonna say something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alex, did you have something to input? You looked like you
Yeah, I
had
did.
like you were like I'm waiting for them to say it. I'm waiting for them to say it.
No, they got it. That was a history.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's pretty much all over the place, but I would say like the band got like a fresh start around the time he's talking about, like that show we played that he got us on, because that was one of the first shows we had Alex, and it was just like a whole different band.
I would like to say that at one point we opened up a portal and we added in a touring bassist, touring guitarist. His name's Lane, and now he's within the frame of this picture. So shout out to him. He's been a big help.
Where is Lane right now? Is
Lane-
He's warming up.
Oh, okay.
Lane's
I think he's
warming up.
warming up. Yeah.
I had a second question prepared, but Cheetah kind of brought it up,
Oh,
so
snap.
I'd prefer to go with that, make it a
Okay.
little bit more natural. But you said that you booked a show, and that was kind of how like you started to get them
Yeah.
a little bit more recognition. So I just kind of wanted to ask, like, you guys, at least online, I can tell, you guys and the whole Houston scene have a much bigger, like you guys are way bigger at lifting each other up,
Right.
like. So how has that kind of helped lead to the success of the band?
I mean, it's for sure like the opposite of detrimental. Like, something so bad is detrimental. What's the opposite of that?
Are you saying it's so
Yes.
good that it's detrimental?
Cinco.
No. I'm saying it's the good version of detrimental. It's like so advantageous. Like, it's hard to talk about like of where we'd be without the Houston scene. Because like you said, like, so Lane's with us from Portal Frame. His band's called Portal Frame. We wouldn't be able to tour without the Houston scene, because we're always able to like find a guitarist out in Houston that'll come play with us, and everybody in Houston is like always
one big family.
Yeah, like all the locals will take turns on shows. Like, there's never like a local who's like, I'm gonna be the one that's always opening, and then like let's say your band plays and mine doesn't, like I'm gonna buy a ticket from you. But then if I play and you don't play, you're gonna get a ticket from me. It's a really like everyone's trying to make it so it's competitive. Everyone's hustling, but
it's not like a let's step on each other to
Yeah.
make
It-
our band big.
It was like that at one point. Like basically right before I was active in the scene, there were a handful of hardcore bands that were like, they didn't sound too different from each other, so they could have easily shared the same fan base, but they didn't. They were always competing for shows and always talking crap about each other. I just like being cool with people, so like, so one thing that started was the drummer of Manic and Mishap. He got me a show at Stolas, and whenever somebody does something nice for me, I try to either do something nice for them or return the favor to somebody else. So like, I started lifting up other bands started lifting up my band, and we just kept going back and forth, and eventually, like, we're pretty much family.
Yeah, and same thing. We wouldn't be here if Manny hadn't offered us our first show like 4 years ago with Icarus the Owl. I can't remember who it was. I just remember he hit me up to do a show, and that's how we met everybody. And
I
started
told
playing.
Manny to put you guys on that show.
Okay, see what I mean? Another example.
So basically, even though Cheetah's the newest member, he's the only reason that you guys have any
I mean,
power.
essentially, yeah. Me and Alex don't do anything.
They don't do anything at all. But yeah, I've been I've been impressed with Vox since day one. Like I said, that house show, the sound system was really bad, but they still sounded really good, better than every band that played that night actually. So I've always had mad respect for them, and I respect a bunch of other bands in the Houston scene. Everybody works hard. One reason I joined Vox is because they worked harder than most, if not all, the other Houston bands. So here I am now.
All right. Well,
Are we-
Alex, you still look like you have something to say. Come on, like.
No, I'm good.
That's all right.
The history and the scene thing is like their wheelhouse.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
yeah.
then let me direct this one to you. All right.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So, how does the new album differ between your old stuff, in your eyes?
Oh, cool. I can answer that one. So the old album, a lot of it was mostly written by our previous guitar player, Tim Brown from Icarus the Owl. A lot of the music was written from him before I had joined the band. And so that entire album's kind of a mishmash between my writing and Tim's writing, and kind of figuring out where the band was going to go after I had came in and added to the writing. And now the new album is just us kind of having settled into the sound we're going for now. And it's a lot more...
Mature.
Yeah, I guess is a
Kinda
word
go
for
with,
it.
like, the generic, mature. This is our more mature album type thing.
This one's real. It comes from the heart. It has feeling. No. Yeah, it's a lot more consistent, I guess I would say. It sounds like all the songs were written to be on the same album.
I was actually listening to it on the way out here because my girlfriend hadn't heard it yet. So we were sitting in traffic, listening to it, and like I've listened to it a couple times, since Cheetah sent it to me when you guys first had the finals. But I mean, like, it definitely sounds like way more like a full album instead of a collection of songs that were kind of just mishmashed together.
Yeah, having it really, at least like kind of sitting back and like being the drummer, and I don't write anything except the drums, it felt a lot more like a coherent idea because it was just one person doing like a lot of the writing, like for the core like beginning of tracks.
Well, kind of going off of that, how does the process for the band, for like songwriting, lyric writing, happen?
For the most part, most of the music comes just from me. I'll write all the guitars, bass parts, and show them to everybody. And mostly me and Zach go back and forth on his ideas with drums and us kind of tweaking that and tweaking the song as it come along.
Shit ton of Guitar Pro.
Yeah, a lot of Guitar Pro. They all live in Houston and I live in San Antonio. So there's a lot of using Guitar Pro to send ideas back and forth since we can't meet up super often.
Well, I mean, it's good that, there's at least that resource for you guys to all kind of, at least be able to collaborate even though there's that bit of distance between you.
Yeah.
And how about lyrically? Is that all you or?
Yeah, lyrically, so far these two albums have been concept albums. So everything's kind of written with, well, this song is here in the album, so lyrically this needs to happen in the song. What can I write about that connects with that part of the story, but also can be its own standalone song with its own little kind of message, and just working off of that.
And if you're willing to, go ahead and break down the album, the new album for us. Just short, long, kind of summary of like the songs, like concept-wise.
Okay, so the concept of the album is that there's a professor who we never figured out his name, and a wife. Her name is Meissa, and they kind of make this discovery that there is a more or less a soul, if you can call it that, and when somebody dies, that leaves their body and produces a lot of energy. And so they were like, what if we can harness that and use that to power things? And when they brought their findings to like their scientific community, they basically got laughed out of it. It was just like, this is dumb, there's no such thing as a soul, get out of here. And the people that did believe them were like, well, this is extremely morally wrong to do that, so no. And so that came between them, just like, we both no longer have a career in what we're in. This is the only thing between us. And Meissa, the wife, decided she was going to leave. And they have an altercation, and in the altercation, she is fatally wounded. And so the professor is like, well, we know how to do this, like, grab soul energy, stick it in the battery thing. I don't know if that's really a soul, but maybe I can take that and eventually bring her back or something. I don't know, like, just heat of the moment decision. So he does that. And then time skips. It's been like 13 years. The professor dude's gotten rich off of this idea. He still keeps the thing he put her soul in. But over time, she's eventually kind of regained consciousness, but doesn't remember who she is. Until at one point, the professor uses her as kind of like a grave marker to like be like, this is what happened this year. I'm sorry you're dead. This is what our daughter is doing. They also have a daughter. But she happens to be awake during one of these points, and she's like, oh, I've been stuck in a battery for 13 years. This sucks. Fuck that. And so she, like, finds a way to telekinetically, like, talk to the security guard that stays overnight and kind of starts to, like, bend his mind to be like, hey, I'm an otherworldly thing. You need to listen to me. We could be together. It'll be great. And convinces him to steal her from the lab and run off. And they get chased by the professor. He's like, calls the cops on him. And then eventually, Meissa in the battery is like, hey, if you can get me a body I can put myself into, we can be together. And so she leads him to go find her daughter, who is now like 18, because that's the only body that would work, and convinces him to kidnap her, and they kidnap the daughter and switch the daughter's soul and Meissa's. And then she's like, well, now we're together, but the only thing stopping us is the professor's looking for us. So call him over and pretend you kidnapped me, his daughter, and we'll get rid of him. And so they do that. He comes to try to save his daughter, air quotes, and she has the night guard dude kill him, and then immediately turns around and calls the police like, this dude kidnapped me and killed my dad. Help. And so the night guard gets taken off and like put away in jail forever. And so she basically gets away scot-free, having like gotten herself a new body. She gets to inherit all of this stuff from her dead dad, air quotes again. And then the daughter and the night guard are just stuck in a battery and prison for the rest of their life, respectively. It does not end in a happy way.
I just want, since nobody can see this, I just want everybody to know, Zach is looking at Alex super longingly the whole time he was explaining it. Luis is just like kind of staring out in the distance, and Cheetah's like sitting there like pondering like that In-N-Out was really good. I wish I had more of that.
No, actually, I'm really shocked because I didn't know the story. But have you ever played a game called Tales of Symphonia?
I have played a game called Tales of Symphonia.
Okay, so it reminded me of that.
So what Cheetah is saying is that Alex ripped off
No,
Tales of Symphonia.
not exactly, but in Tales of Symphonia.
No. The scale of the story didn't go nearly far enough to be anywhere close to Tales of Symphonia.
Well, I've never played Tales of Symphonia, but I know that it is a Japanese RPG. So yes, I know that there's no way you could write it. Like nobody has the time to write this scale of a Japanese RPG.
Tales of Symphonia starts with you like trying to save your childhood friend from being like the village sacrifice, and ends with you basically like jumping into a separate parallel universe and fighting God. Like
pretty much, it's crazy.
I need to play this game.
It's a wonderful game. It's a wonderful game.
It's a huge scale disparity from the beginning of the story to the end.
I think you told me about this before, because I feel like I remember you saying jumping into a parallel universe and fighting God.
Probably.
One of the elements in the game in the story is that they there's a particular race of people that that are captured and killed and turned into energy. So
that's where you were getting the okay, all right.
This is now a gaming podcast.
Well, I mean, we were.
Smash Bros comes out this year, the new one.
I was trying to bring Jack in so we could talk more about video games. So
really hope Shrek gets in there.
Actually, okay, I'm. Just because you brought that up, I'm going to show you this meme. Just.
When he's looking at the emblem.
No, this one.
Oh, I just shared that.
Yeah.
I
That's
just
where I got it from.
Oh,
It's,
yeah, I
it's
saw that
just for
too.
people who cannot see it. It's the dude from the Wii like notice on holding your remotes. It's that, and it's like vote in him as the new Smash character, and like lists all of his like weird motions from the start of Wii games as like all of his moves. Final Smash is removing the safety strap.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, it's not that far-fetched. We've hit trainer gotten there.
Exactly. I mean,
Who's to say?
Pros. Appears in every single Wii game. Forceful, careless fighting style. Does not allow adequate room. So, I mean, shit, it can happen.
Next Smash, the logo is just going to be a character.
Yeah. All right. So back to this podcast that we're actually doing.
Oh, right. We're on a podcast.
Yeah,
we're a band.
Yeah, we're not just hanging out here.
We are.
But yeah, I mean, hey, it's the first time we've ever actually just sat and talked with a band.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for
Yeah,
having me.
we usually just tell people like, hey, call us on Skype.
Yeah.
Just use Audacity and record your audio and send it to me.
Dang.
This is the grand finale.
Yeah. I mean, that's what. Hey, it's it's a nice new thing. So yeah, it's season finale.
People that do that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's mainly just because like I live in like Anaheim, like over by Disneyland area. Alex is out in Huntington Beach, over by the beach. When Jack comes in, he's up in fucking Sac. So it's like we really can't sit and do this with every single.
Right.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. But anyway, just wanted to ask, and this is more like if you guys are at liberty to talk about it type thing, or if you want to. But you guys have opened for quite a few bigger bands in the scene,
Right.
Hail the Sun, I the Mighty type stuff.
Right.
So because of that, have there been any label opportunities or big tour opportunities that you're at liberty to talk about? If not, I will edit this question out, and we don't even have to talk. We can act as if it never came up.
Funny that you say you could edit it out because I don't know how much I want to drag this now. You know what I mean?
You have to be concerned about what you say.
No, we don't have any. Was the point? That
Oh,
was the joke.
We can talk. We can talk.
There are
Yeah,
no
we can talk about
opportunities.
pretty much anything.
I-
There's nothing coming up like
All
that.
right, well,
There was one label that reached out to us that we turned it down. It wasn't that we had anything against them. We just turned it down because the roster that they had was mostly pop punk, and we didn't want to be affiliated with that. Not
Oh, I know.
We had
what
a
you're
label
talking
reach out to
about.
us?
I know what you're talking
there was
about.
there was a
Yeah.
small pop punk label, and we're like we're not Sweeney Bop or anything. So
Teeny Bop,
See-
which
see,
we are.
there
Teeny
was
Bop.
a
We're
somebody
Teeny Bop.
We're not
somebody
Sweeney Bop, though. There is a clarification there.
somebody criticized us one of our songs. I love criticism. If it's good criticism, I'll take it in and then see how I can apply it. But this one dude was just like made a really ridiculous comment, and I was like, how'd you get that? But whatever. Everybody is assuming that we're getting signed to Blue Swan. I don't think that's happening.
I mean, I feel like as far as like smaller time labels, that's probably the best bet for
Yeah,
you guys.
yeah,
Especially
definitely.
since you have opened for so many bands.
Pretty much all of them.
Yeah, like that are affiliated with Blue Swan, and I mean, it makes sense.
We're
But
essentially just trying to continue to have that awesome relationship with those bands and continue to open them for in Houston. But this is our 7th or 8th DIY tour, and we always come back positive on them. So right now we're just trying to continue getting better at hitting all the markets we need to hit and getting better at having a tighter set because we have had a lot of lineup changes. And so I think this last year has been more about growth in the band and getting better at what we're doing because we haven't had any label reach out to us. But we do already have a tour planned for this summer, and then we have one coming up in October. Well, the summer one's a bit more iffy, but there's something happening in October that's for sure happening.
For sure.
Yeah,
October.
for sure. That we got the routes for today.
definitely for sure. You want to announce that right here?
I mean,
You wanna give us that
yeah,
exclusive?
we- yeah.
that exclusive?
Yeah,
Exclusive.
Yeah, this is a pretty niche community, so I don't see
Yeah.
why not. Anybody who truly cares will get this far in the interview, be like, hell yeah, Vox is touring in October, so
yeah.
Yeah,
we'll be on the road in October. Hype
I mean,
it up.
shit, I'm like, hell yeah, Vox is touring in
Yeah.
Yeah, I
October.
mean, word of mouth is important.
East Coast only, sorry.
Ooh, I don't know about East Coast. We just got a
Can you
route.
just add a California, like back here date,
One show.
In the middle of the tour, we'll get tired of cold and we'll come over. We'll
Yeah,
fly over
yeah,
here and then fly
We've
back.
been joking about it actually, but
Yeah, we're trying to make a route that has the whole country at once. That's pretty tough, though.
Oh yeah.
yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, word of mouth is important. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. We're touring in October. Hype it up.
Woo!
Any hype is appreciated.
So is this going to be just you guys touring with local bands, opening up, or is there
As of now?
We have Demon in Me with us for 4 or 5 days on this, and my pipe dream is that we would have a different band every week for a week. So have this hella regional coverage. So right now it's just us, but we're trying to see. There's a few bands who we played with that we really enjoyed playing with that are of similar size, and we're trying to see if we can get maybe one
get
or
a couple
two
of them to just kind of
Yeah.
come along for a little bit,
Yeah, come along for a few weeks.
reach
Yeah,
out for
something like that.
get out of their local scene, and then
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
okay, head home, we're bringing another band on with
Yeah.
us this
Yeah,
time.
we
It really helps turn out, and it's just generally a more fun experience.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, you get to know, more people, and so, on your next tour when, you guys are just by yourselves and it's oh, hey, we need support for this show. It's
Yeah.
you've got those connections already established where it's
Right.
hey, I need support for this show on this day. Can you play it? Type
We
thing.
did a run with Televangelist, and that was one of my favorite tours we've done. And then we did a run with this now defunct group called Crimson Arrow, and that was our first tour. That was a lot of fun too.
Rest
And
in
then-
peace,
oh,
Crimson
yeah.
Arrow.
Oh yeah, and then suddenly we did with our record release. We brought another Houston band with us called the first record called And Then Suddenly, and it's a lot more fun. It's more hands to help with stuff, more brains to work with. It's a better experience all around.
All right. Well, going off of the whole tour conversation that we're having, how do you guys, as a smaller time band, manage promoting your album, between having
Ooh.
your actual day jobs and and also, you know, booking a DIY tour like this?
So we're lucky enough to have a booker, actually. I used to do the booking for us, but we played a couple shows with this guy named Daniel Anthony Castleberry in Oklahoma, and he was a really big fan, and he was already like a booking agent for a booking productions company, and took us on as one of his clients, or I guess one of his bands. So he does all our booking now.
Shout out to Daniel.
Yeah, shout out to Daniel. That guy's a fucking monster.
Aorta.
Happy belated birthday, like 4 days ago.
Oh, happy belated.
I don't know when this airs. Maybe like 4 months ago.
Oh, today's my brother's birthday.
No offense. I'm not saying your turnaround's that slow. If that's slow, my bad.
We were just joking, I guess. Today's my brother's birthday. I totally forgot.
Did you text him yet?
Not yet.
You forgot earlier and you just remembered and forgot again?
Yeah.
Damn.
All right, well, let's all wait for Cheetah to text his brother.
I'll text him after the interview.
Yeah.
What else are we oh yeah, promotion and whatnot. Yeah, a lot of smaller bands, mainly the unsigned ones, I feel that they don't do enough. Like I take a lot of notes. I look at bigger bands. I look to see how active they are on social media. I see how often they post music videos and all that stuff, all their activity. And we came together and we decided that we just do the most as possible with our budget. So we prepared music videos. Initially, we only had 2 planned, but we did 3. We try to stay active on Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. But staying social media, that's our main tool. We don't have commercials. We don't have billboards. All we have is social media.
Yeah, I would watch a lot like Birds really closely because I love their take on social media. Like they always made really like those videos they made when they were recording DVC, like the ones where they do those little clips.
Yeah.
Those were fucking cool. But yeah, I feel like they have a really good handle on it. So like he said, like that's a band that I would watch and I would just try to emulate what they did, but with our own voice and our own take on it.
Hell the Sun is my thing. Hell the Sun stays on
Yeah.
top of social media.
Yeah.
I mean, Cheetah, you seem to kind of always be on social media, so I mean, that's nice that you guys
try
have
to be.
That's nice that you have somebody in the band who, you know, like spends a lot of time. So, and I mean, you know, you're in a lot of those music groups and stuff, so
Yeah.
it's like it's really easy for, you know, somebody to be like, "Oh, can you suggest me some music?" And you're just like, "Hey, check out my band," you know, type thing. Like,
Yeah, I got to plug it. You know,
Yeah.
that's all I have.
We try to play our strengths.
Yeah, it's like work with what we have. Shout out to Happy Hour. Happy Hour hustles hard. I mad respect for their social media game.
And they're clever too, like finding ways to be unique about like how you do it is a big part of it too. Because if you're just doing like the thing I'm thinking of is one of the guys from Happy Hour was telling me how he would like find arguments on Facebook and then just be like, but you could listen to this instead. And people always like thought it was really funny. That's ingenious. That's a really funny
have
idea.
you? I don't know if you guys follow Garrett Garfield or Garrett Garrett from Silent Planet.
I don't.
No.
If you see any, like, his tweets are one of my favorite things to see because he'll go and like jump onto like, you know, political tweets and, you know, he'll like make a comment about like, you know, like a senator will tweet like, oh, you know, like you know, like the Marco Rubio thing. If you guys remember the video of him, you know, talking to that kid and he's like, the kid's like, will you deny, you know, any NRA money? And the kid, and he's like, well, I'm not accepting NRA money. They're just supporting my agenda type
Yeah.
shit. Well,
Like
he
my
would like come.
agenda.
He would like come into that and be like, you know, like that's kind of a non-answer. But hey, I have a band. You should check it out. You know, type shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And like he'll like post it to people who like would clearly like, you know, who are like 60 years old who are clearly not going to listen to Silent Planet. But you know, like
You
it's
never
like
know.
Might hit somebody.
Yeah, what if Marco
Exactly,
Rubio
and I mean-
fucks with Silent Planet?
yeah, you know. I mean, shit. Mike Pence says that he's a Christian, a conservative, and,
like
you know, and
Sandra
and a Republican. Christian is first. Silent Planet is a Christian band. You know,
Okay.
who knows?
You never
You know,
know.
having the vice president as a fan. I mean, you know, hey.
Can you imagine Mike Pence crowd killing?
Oh man.
That's some good shit.
I'd like to see that.
Me too.
Yeah, I would really
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, just I mean, like, go look up like his Twitter and just see like some of the like things that he tweets at people. You know, like some of the replies that he makes. It's like his social media game is on point, but it's like funnily on point. Like, you know, like nobody would think to do that. You know, like you know, the Happy Hour guys apparently have, you know, also kind of
Yeah.
tapped into that same thing. But it's
Yeah.
like, you know, like, hey, that's super cool. You know, play to your strengths. If you can fucking troll really well,
Or
you know.
like sometimes you'll see music videos on like Pornhub and shit too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
People in the comments. Shit, I'm sure here for real. It's
I
on
mean,
there.
shit. Those people fucking talk about like anything. They're like, "Hey, I need somebody for Fortnite on Xbox One."
Yeah, I've seen those screenshots, man. I've seen those screenshots.
I didn't know that shit. It's funny.
All right. Well, as far as that goes, I'm actually out of questions. So if you guys have anything else,
Ooh.
you know, you want to like kind of, you know, just kind of elaborate on, you know, like anything that you're thinking of. Luis, do you have anything to interject?
I'm working on some remixes for this album,
Uh-oh.
actually.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Some real, like, atmospheric, spacey shit.
Oh, nice,
So,
nice. So,
yeah.
are you gonna put that out like as a deluxe edition for the album, or is it just gonna be kind of be
We'll
like
see.
a separate like EP under your name, or is it like a Vox thing?
It would
Yeah,
be
it would
like,
still be Vox.
yeah, it would be a Vox thing, but it would be like very clearly like, oh, Lewis did this, because there was a lot of like really cool shit he brought to put on the record that was like, this is cool, but doesn't necessarily fit with this interpretation of the record. What if we had like a whole remixed version that's just more
Yeah.
synth based, and that's where this idea came from.
Well, that's actually super tight, and I'm super hyped for that because I mean, like, you know,
So far, I have about 3 that I've been working on. And they're sounding tight. I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited.
I'm excited. I've heard some of it. It's really good. It's
cool.
It's great.
can you spoil us on what 3 songs you've been working on?
My favorite, Mercy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what are the other two? You like this giant?
Wait, this giant, and I'm not gonna say it because I haven't showed you.
Oh, okay.
We can talk after we can talk after this.
Yeah,
and
you know
kinda
what?
keep it
I'll
away
probably
from-
show you a little bit if you want.
All right, sure, for sure, yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Is there anything
I'd like to add that we plan on doing 2 more music videos for this album. If we already started working on the next, what else can we add?
Oh, I thought you were asking, like, have we already started working?
No, we are. That was a statement. Period. Exclamation point. Actually.
Yeah.
What else? Do you know when this is gonna be released? Because what's today? Today's the 15th, March 15th. We still have a few weeks of our tour left. It's
Few.
a few.
I mean,
a month.
Okay.
We have a month. But, like I was
Thanks for
saying,
doing this.
we have a few more weeks left. A month. I'm sorry. We have a month.
So.
Just putting that in there.
Yeah. I think that's. Is there anything else we want to talk about, guys?
I want to talk more. Is there anything else to talk about?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's it from me. So if you have something that you're like you're just dying to get off your chest, I mean, you know.
Music videos, remixes. We have a month left of this tour. Plenty of merch. Stream our album. It's on
everywhere. It's on Kingdom Leaks.
It's on,
Holy shit!
We're on
made it.
Kingdom
You know,
League.
actually,
fuck Billboard.
you know, it was funny because the day that it came out, I was gonna hit you guys up and be like, "Hey, like, I have the album," and like, Alex knows, like, the head of my co-host, Alex.
Yeah.
Knows Lord Kingdom from Kingdom Leaks.
Oh, no shit.
wow.
And so I was like, "Hey, dude, you should like hit up Vox Vocis and see if they're cool with you just
yeah.
dropping the album
No,
to
that's cool.
him." Because I mean, Kingdom Leaks is always super good about like, you know, putting like, you know, like here's where you can buy
Yep.
the album, you know, here's their Facebook page. And I mean, a lot of those people on there, you know, they like an album enough, they go and buy it. Like, you
Right,
know, it's
right.
like the people who are going to pirate your album are going to pirate it anyway. So it's not
Yeah.
a lost sale.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know,
Yeah, to me, like, with how easy it is to get music streamable everywhere, I think what it says that someone took the time to illegally upload it and everything.
yeah.
I
like what that
appreciate
says.
those people, definitely.
Yeah, me too. Which is probably why musicians are so poor. But what a nice thief.
But at the same, it's more like Robin Hood. Like,
I mean,
hey,
shit. I'll pull it up right now, and we can look at like, you know, the positive response
That's
rate.
what I'm saying.
You
Though.
know?
It's like, yeah, I'm not making that maybe like what $5 I'd get out of my cut at the end of the day, but like they
Right.
put all this effort into it, and all our links and shit are there. It's
Right.
like-
Yeah, that's what I'm
my
saying. Like,
stuff?
it's so cool that, you know, like I was kind of saying, like, suggesting it as like a joke, but like to know that, you know, like somebody actually went out there and, you know, like
Yeah.
actually put it on there, like that's super
Right.
cool, you know. Like that kind of means that you guys made it. Like, you know.
I wish.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys are popular enough for people to want to illegally download
made
your album,
something,
you know.
yeah.
right.
It's like, oh,
Any
you stole my
exposure is
stuff.
good
Thanks for the
exposure.
support.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? You know, maybe maybe you get a couple people who come out, you know, to the tour and are like, "Oh, I illegally downloaded your album." I mean, who knows? Maybe they hear this podcast and hear you guys talking about, "Oh, our album's on King of Leaks," and they're like, "Okay, I don't feel so bad like telling them I illegally downloaded your album, but that's why I'm here because I wanted to
take it
hear
out of their
Right.
car on iTunes.
I illegally downloaded Happiness when it came out. It's my first DGD record that I heard.
Yeah, make sure to edit that out.
No, I illegally downloaded Happiness. I think it was late August of 2009, and then I went and saw them for the first time October that year, and bought a physical copy, bought a shirt. It was great. It was great. But that was one of the first albums I pirated.
We're gonna like send a press pack into Blue Swan for LP3 and be like, "Nah, man, you fucking stole Happiness. Fuck out of here, dude."
I mean, I won't lie. I spent like $60 on instant gratification for the pre-order, and then
Damn good record. I don't even blame you.
No, but
Oh.
remember how they played that the like pre-release shows for it like 2 weeks in advance? I illegally downloaded it after the pre-release show because I was like, I paid for this album. I want to listen to it early.
Man,
you know?
I was up all night waiting for somebody to upload that.
Yep.
I was like, who has this album? Somebody has this album. They play like what three shows back to back or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was like 2 nights in Sacramento, back to back.
And I was like, yo, somebody has this album. Give me the fucking album right now.
What's your favorite DGD record?
Okay, this is a very controversial opinion, and I've never actually said this
Swan
on the
posting.
podcast.
Swan
but
posting.
My favorite DGD album is actually Acceptance Speech. I wish that
It's
it
a
wasn't
real
so.
one.
I wish that it wasn't so poorly produced, but it's like the songwriting on
The
that
songwriting is amazing.
So fucking good.
Isn't
Like,
that yours, Alex?
No.
Oh, what
I
is
thought it
yours?
was.
I thought it was too. I know it's
I
Lane.
could, so, maybe it was Lane. It was Lane who said that.
No, Lane. That's the one. That's the only one by Tillian he likes.
Oh yeah, that's what he said.
Oh, yeah, a guy playing guitar does not fuck with Tillian's voice.
I can see that. I feel like for most people who aren't going to fuck with Tillian, Acceptance Speech is the best album for him because it's not him doing his super poppy stuff all
Yeah,
the time. You know?
Right.
But all right, well now I'm gonna hit you guys with the same question. What's your favorite? I know what yours is. I think
What's
everybody knows.
my favorite?
Instant gratification.
That's
Well, I mean,
that's what
I know that Happiness is like your like kinda
Happiness
like
is my
your-
favorite.
Your favorite, but isn't it like kind of bad memory type?
But no, it's more. Happiness is my favorite, but I don't consider it the best Dance Gavin
Okay.
Dance album. One reason is because John Mess is an essential member, and he was not in that album.
yeah.
So to say it's like the best Will Swan album, that's one thing. But to say it's the best like Dance Gavin Dance album, like John Mess isn't in there, and he was only out the band for one album out of 9 records total,
Yeah.
and counting. So Happiness is my favorite, but I think Instant Gratification has the overall best songwriting.
All right.
So
Alex,
I think that's the best.
I like Mothership. Mothership is my favorite.
Mothership is
Mothership
Mothership
is really good.
I think all the Tillian albums are top tier.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Happiness.
And the thing that I liked about Mothership was it seemed like from the singles that it was going to be a super poppy album, and then you actually hear the album and there's some ridiculously heavy stuff, like really John-centric songs.
Right.
And I kind of did a double take because I was like, holy shit, like they kind of faked me out on this, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the singles were what? Fucking Young Robot, Chucky, and Betrayed by the Game. Like,
Right.
other than Exposed, like the poppiest songs on the album, and then, you know, you hear it and it's like, oh.
I feel the singles are geared more towards the people who made Instant Gratification successful.
Yeah.
To kind of feed them some more, but still like they stuck more to like their heavy side and the deep cuts. So I love DGD. Everything they do promotional wise and the way they market themselves. I have so much respect for Will and his crew.
Luis, your favorite DGD album?
So you're probably gonna hate me, but I don't actually listen to them a lot. But if I had to pick, it would be Mothership also.
Wow. No, this guy has
You
to
can,
go.
you can.
This guy has to go.
That's what
This
we
guy has
listen
to
to
go.
on tour all the
Kicking
time.
him out the band. This guy has to go.
You can edit this out.
No.
This is why they're not signed to Blue Swan Records.
we're about to edit him out. It's okay.
I like Acceptance Speech the most. I think it's because it was the first one I got into, but I really like all the songwriting a lot.
I feel the same way. It was actually I mean, I had like friends in like middle school, like trying to get me into Dance Gavin Dance, and it was like before I liked anything with screaming, so I was like, turn this garbage
Yeah.
off. And then like right as I got like super into like post-hardcore stuff was when Robot Part 4 dropped as the single, and I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, like
That's
this
a
is
monstrous
this is
song.
fucking
It's a great song. Yeah.
Right, well,
Dance
now,
Gavin
now that we're
Dance.
talking about other bands, I mean, Coheed and Cambria.
What about him?
I'm not a huge fan.
I don't know, just Coheed and neither am I. Just Coheed and Cambria.
I think at least Alex might be different than me, but as I've gotten older, I have listened to less and less Coheed and like more and more bullshit. Like last night, we were at this dude's house in Henderson, Nevada,
Vegas, yeah.
and he was showing us the most like interesting music I've never even heard. So Coheed is like always gonna be in my heart because I grew up on it. But I'm just listening to weirder and weirder stuff now. But I'm really excited for the new CD. They're putting a new CD out this year. What about you? You still listen to a lot of Coheed?
No, basically the same thing.
Yeah. Definitely our roots. I feel like you'll hear it
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Holy Right and how I drum at least, but not so much anything I listen to anymore.
All right, how about bands that you've opened up for? I the Mighty, favorite I the Mighty album.
Oh, dude,
Ooh,
I'm
that's
a
a tough
shitty
one.
Eye the Mighty fan. I only know their one really sick EP that has a song that's like, yeah. You know? Yeah, he knows the song.
It's I don't know the names, but I think it's somebody's song, something song. I know what song he's talking about.
You'd say, yeah.
I don't know the words either. But I know a song it's super
Oh, yeah,
fucking
it's like,
catchy.
you have to tell her so.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Whatever, help us out, Eye the
It's,
Mighty
it's
fan.
super
Like,
catchy.
And then their new record is amazing. I
think-
cannot get over how good that record is.
It's a tie for me. It's the tie between Satori and the newest record. The one was it Connector. The
Yeah.
one I feel Connector started strong, but later I don't know, it just wasn't for me. But Satori and the newest record are I feel are their best.
I think I'm gonna kind of be the outlier here, and I was not a big fan of the newest record.
I feel like a lot of people who are like legit fans probably aren't. Because I know it's a popular record.
It's more in the pop
I mean,
direction.
I was kind of like, I was super big into Satori, and then when Connector came out, I was like, this is a little too heavy electronic. And then after like 2 years, I finally was like, okay, yeah, Connector's actually like really good. And I was kind of like, I like this whole, like rock with the little bit of electronic sound,
Right.
And then they kind of went way more into the pop, and I was like, oh, like I think the only song I can regularly listen to off the new one is Silver Tongues.
Yeah?
Okay,
Yeah.
Tillian kills it in that song.
Yeah, Tillian does kill it in that song.
I just like how the drummer is still playing rock drums in like a super pop
Yeah.
sound.
Oh, yeah.
He makes it so good. I
They're
love this
they're
stuff.
great songwriters.
Yeah.
They are definitely. I mean, nothing against them, nothing against the songwriting on
Right.
there on the new one. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I was looking for, And I'm like, I'm still gonna support them because they're a great band, great
Right.
group of dudes, but just wasn't. It's not. If I'm gonna listen to I the Mighty, it's just not the album that I'm gonna go back to.
Right.
that.
We opened up for Hell the Sun with Eye the Mighty on their last tour together. That was a great show. I love Hell the Sun. I've been a huge fan of Hell the Sun since 2012. Any comments on Hell the Sun? Anybody?
Favorite Hell the Sun albums?
Ooh.
Okay,
so I
How to
have
start
this-
a fight in the van.
I have this gripe with Hell the Sun because I hate their discography, but I love all their songs. I like versatility in my discographies.
Uh-huh.
All their songs are killer, but like it's really consistent, and I think that's why I don't listen to Circus Survive a lot. They're great musicianship, but Hell the Sun. I think I'm gonna go with Wake as far as favorite album. It's from Hell the Sun. Like I think it's like their best balance. Cultural Scars is underrated severely. Because a lot of people were complaining about it not being technical enough. I just think they weren't going for that, and once you grasp that concept,
I think it took seeing Culture Scars live for me to really appreciate a lot of it.
yeah, there's great energy in that record. It's so big.
Right. Alex, favorite Hail the Sun record?
I like Wake. Wake is my favorite.
All right.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
Luis?
Wait. Oh, sorry.
I don't have one for that either. But I'm super like into that one song that what is that song? Listen here.
Let's.
Is that?
Morning Sickness?
Yeah, that's Morning Sickness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Lewis comes from a very musical different musical background than
Oh,
we
okay.
do.
Yeah, it's actually one of the coolest things about having him in the band is like all these bands we've been mentioning. I don't think he's heard more than like 3 or 4 songs by each one of them. So he like really brings stuff to the table that none of us would even think of because it's not in our palette of like musicianship. Like there's this part in Wake This Giant where there's like a guitar break and the guitars just do eighth notes and like before you go into the first verse. And after like the first version we had, Lewis added this like swell in it, and that's just not like a thing you have in post like whatever we play, whatever genre we're in now. You don't hear people doing vroom at the beginning of a song to like build into it. So we have like, a lot of stuff that he brings that we wouldn't even think to try.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah.
He's defending you before all the flamers come in. You know? I'm just kidding. We don't have enough fans to have people flaming us.
Same.
We're right there.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say anything, but I actually did look at the comments for the Kingdom leaks.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there are. I think you guys have actually made it so you have enough people who are flaming. Yeah.
Dude, yes, dude. I get so excited. Let's do this live. Let's
I'm
do this
so
live.
excited to see terrible
I've got the
reviews.
I've got the page up right now.
Yes,
so,
let's do this.
Top comment. This is good.
Okay.
Okay.
One for one.
Second comment. Lord Kingdom, the guy who actually uploaded it and owns the site. I'm gonna say it. Last album is leagues better. This sounds underproduced, sloppy, and pitchy as fuck.
That's an interesting comment.
All right.
Wow.
Fucking
Yeah.
cut us down.
Underproduced.
Yeah. All right. So, dude, responding to that. Never heard of these guys. I like this, but I'm glad you're able to say it. That takes a lot. Next guy. Interesting. Next guy. Replying to that same negative
Okay,
comment.
okay.
Damn, I was expecting a solid second release. Sad face. I'm still gonna give it a listen. I hope it grows on me. This band has plenty of potential.
Okay. You're giving us one more shot.
He commented before listening to it, so I mean,
Wait.
who knows if he liked it or not.
Never mind.
I have one more, and then
Okay.
you can say whatever you. So last guy, yeah, not a fan of the mixing. They were better before this, but this isn't a bad album by any means. Cold Snap is a highlight for sure.
No.
That's like one
dude.
of Okay.
That's like we were having a really hard time figuring out if that was going to be in the set or not. So I was just like, oh, that needs to be in the set.
Huh. That's shout out to the guy that said the first release. Anybody said the first release is better. That means they are fans and they went to this website to get the music early. So shout out to those guys who were eager. Interesting comments. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I'm okay with negative feedback, but that negative feedback surprises me because the producer we had this time was just relentless, like about, come on, you guys can do better, you can do better. So that's interesting to me. I think you have a beautiful voice.
I think it's very beautiful too.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know, Alex.
I think you're holding us back at the same time.
It's intentional.
I mean, I don't know where to go from this. I mean, I feel like I'm tearing you guys down because I read that.
I'm laughing at it. I mean, no matter who you are, I love Dance Gavin Dance, and people make bad comments on them all the time. So it's like,
part of
it's a part of it.
yeah, like we
You're
put
not gonna please everyone.
all over the internet, and people tear it down all the time. Like we had one of our best shows on our last tour. I got destroyed. Okay, so I post our shows on subreddits, and so I posted about a show in Nashville, and the subreddit fucking destroyed me. They did not like our music. They didn't like me posting in their subreddit. But then the show was like the best show of that tour. It was packed, made a ton of money. So I don't know. You can't get too upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, we have fans. I mean, people are coming out to our shows, they're selling merch. People are sharing our music, and when people are sharing your music and putting money into it, obviously you're doing something right. But like Alex said, you can't please everybody, so whatever. Looking forward to what happens next. Like I said, Alex is already writing. And I believe we'll all have a little bit more input on this next record. So I'm really excited to see where the next record goes, simply put.
Definitely. I mean, I think you guys I think from what you guys are even telling me here, you're really starting to hit your stride as a band. So, the next one should be the one that's like finally breakthrough success, actually, get out, get big and get out there. I mean, especially if you guys are doing, you know, like a tour like this, and I mean, if you're making it positive on each of your DIY tours, then you know that's already, you know, better than a lot of bands, you know,
Right.
even bands that are bigger than you and signed, you know, aren't necessarily, you know, making it back that easily. You know?
Right.
Correct. Right.
The whole positive thing though does take like a ton from the community too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
we for sure wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for all the people who are nice enough to help us out and
Yeah.
support us. Is that good? Is that enough?
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to you guys. I mean,
What do you think, Alex?
I'm good.
I think we're good. Yeah.
yeah, we're at like a little under an hour, so I mean
yeah.
that should that should be
that's
fine. I
Yeah.
mean, it'll probably end up being 45 minutes with that
Even
one part
better.
cut out, you know. But
Yeah.
I think this was a very good one. you
Yeah.
know.
Well, dude, thank you so much for having us
Yeah,
on.
of course. Yeah, of course.
This is wonderful. We've
I'm,
never
I'm,
done a
ha- I'm
podcast.
happy. I'm happy to have you guys on. I mean, you know, even after the remix, if you guys all want to come back on, you know, and like just talk about the remixes.
We'll be
or,
back.
you know.
We have plans to record a little bit more at the end of the year. Not going to go into detail about that, but we're grinding as always. So you'll hear from us soon.
Alex,
No, I'm good.
are you sure? You always look like you have something to say.
Right? Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah, yeah,
Every
like-
time he said this, I thought you were getting ready to say something.
Yeah, like you look there and you like adjust your microphone like you're about to like pick it up and like
sorry.
be like, you know, like say something. I mean, it's nothing bad. I mean, if you have stuff to say, I mean, come on, you know.
I think we're set. I think that's good. Yeah.
Shout out to Kanye West.
So, all right.
God damn it.
Shout out to everybody who's been coming along to these Vox Vocis shows and
Hell yeah.
people who are planning on coming to the shows.
Everybody's bought merch. Everybody
Yeah.
streamed the album, shared the album.
It's been sick.
Everybody who, you know, posted on Kingdom Leaks a negative comment, you know,
Hey.
got more eyes on, you know, the album, you know.
Right.
Just keep letting us know what we're doing wrong. Just keep it coming.
Just keep letting Alex know, because as he said, and as Cheetah said,
Just
that
keep cutting
nobody
me to the
else has
core.
input in this band, so just direct it all at Alex.
Okay, cool.